Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is somehow halfway through the year now, which is kind of crazy because I have no idea where the last few months went, and making it halfway through the year so far makes me realize I need to up my reading game. Here's to the rest of the year being better for reading and no more reading slumps. But that's not why we're here today. We're here because we're doing the mid-year book tag. I did this a few years ago when I was doing BookTube consistently, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna do it this year. I don't think I used the same questions as whenever I did it last. I found these questions from a website called onereadingnurse.com, and it was posted by someone named Athena. So credit to you, thank you for making these questions. They were questions from like 2023, but those are the ones I decided to go with. So, and I only have really 12 questions to answer. Alright, let's jump right into this. For the first question I have, what is the best book you've read so far in 2026? I've only had one 5-star rate so far this year, which is crazy because there's a lot of books I still think about. I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that, but never gave me the 5-star feeling. The only book that did was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This was like a reread for me because I read it back in like when I was 14, so almost 10 years later. So I read this because I want to read all the books in order to watch the new movie in November. The Hunger Games is the best book I've read so far this year. Question number 2 is, what is the best sequel you've read so far in 2026? Now, I'm actually going to grab, I have the first book in the series, but I don't have the second. And I did, in fact, read the second on Kindle. I just haven't bought it yet. And the first book in the series is Your Knife, My Heart by K.M. Moronova. Basically, the series follows Cameron, who is in the secret forces, dark force. It's kind of like higher up than the military, and he keeps killing his partners. So they end up partnering him up with Emery, who was just taken out of prison. He has to learn to not kill her. So this is the first book. The second book is My Blade, You're Back. That is the only sequel that I've read so far this year, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I did like the first book better, but again, this is the best sequel because it's the only sequel I really read. Question number 3 is, what is a new release this year that you haven't read yet but want to? That is going to have to be, so I'm grabbing from the pile, is The Kings of Kearney by Nevessa Allen. This might have not been like originally released this year. It was originally released in 2021, but then it was traditionally published in 2026. So I'm going to throw this on here. I know there's a sticker there. Some people hate stickers. I just haven't gone around to take it off yet. Let me read the back for you. Jacob Larson is going to be the death of me. They call him the Viking, and he's chief enforcer of the motorcycle club that runs this small Texas town. He's a criminal. As dangerous as he is sexy, the kind of man that makes you sit up and take notice. Oh, and I've noticed there's an extra energy in the bar where I work on the nights he's there. He's clearly looking for something on the prowl, because someone is breaking one of the cardinal rules set by the leader of the Kings. Unfortunately, he's noticed me too. Now we're neck deep in trouble, even bigger than the Kings, and every time I think I know what's really going on, he reveals another surprise. But how far am I willing to go with him to protect this town? If I fall for him, there's no going back, no hope for a peaceful ending. But perhaps descending into darkness with him could lead to something even better than a happily ever after. I do also need to finish the Into the Darkness series, but this is my new release of the year that I really want to get to this year. Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated new release for the second half of the year? That's going to have to be Grim Tidings by V.K. Borison. I haven't read Good Spirits yet. I somehow have 2 copies of it, but Grim Tidings is speaking to me. Like the energy and the vibe it's putting out. Yeah. Yeah, I need it. I need it. And also, I can't find many releases for the end of the year. Like the second half of the year. Most of the books have already came out. So let me know if there's any books you're looking forward to for the second half of the year. Question number 5 is, what's my biggest reading disappointment of the year? And that's going to have to be a book I read from the library. If you consider graphic novels a book, I do. It is After Volume 2, the graphic novel by Anna Todd. I don't know why they broke up the first book into 2 volumes, and I don't know if they plan on doing more, but the second part was just like back and forth and the fighting and the toxicity. I feel like that series, it drags on at some point. Like, after the first movie, I'm like, okay, so this is just a toxic relationship where nobody can be adults. We could have used 2 or 3 scenes from that book, thrown it in the first volume, and then called it the book. I don't think we needed a whole nother volume, and we didn't really get anything new from the second volume. I think I gave it 2.5. I gave it 2.25. It was not it for me. It was not my cup of tea. Question number 6 is, what's your biggest reading surprise? That's gonna have to be the book club book I read. My boyfriend's mother started a book club, so I joined it. And the book we read this past month is Me Talk Pretty One Day, which is a biography, comedy short stories by this man named David Sedaris. I was a big surprise because I don't think I was like ever going to plan to actually read it, which is fine because the book club is very like lenient. It's like, if you don't feel like reading this month, you don't have to. But I ended up getting this from Libby, and it was a good palate cleanser between the books I was reading, and reading like a few short stories every night was nice. They're cute little funny stories. I feel like he starts on a point, and then he hits another point, and then he just kind of trails off, but then he comes back to the point at the end. So I'm like, some of them were getting repetitive, some of them were getting low. Some of them were, I skipped only one story out of all, I think there's like 30 of them. I overall enjoyed it, but I don't know who this dude is. I think he's still alive. I think he's still a comedian. But now I just know bits and pieces about his life. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. Because I don't like comedy, I don't like short stories, and I don't like biographies very much. So it's a big surprise that I enjoyed it, which is good. Question number 7 is, who's your newest favorite author? Ashley Poston. I actually own The 7-Year Slip and The Dead Romantics. That sounds wrong, but I own 2 other of her books, and I just ordered this one and then picked it up and read it before reading the others, and I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't know how much I would like the magical realism of these books, but I really enjoyed it. And this one specifically follows a songwriter and an ex-boy band pop star, and they get stuck in each other's heads, and they can hear each other, but they don't know whether it's the other person. I think I'm going to read the other books this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. The only one I don't own the newest one, which is The Someday Garden, and I also don't own A Novel Love Story, which is one I really want to read. So, Ashley Poston, welcome to my auto buy list. Question 8 is, who's your newest favorite character? And that's going to be from The Deal, and it's going to be Hannah Wells. With having read this and watching a bit of the show and seeing the cast on Instagram and stuff, I really think the actress that played Hannah really nailed it. I really like Hannah. I feel like she's very down to earth, and she just felt like a real character. I'm going to have to say Hannah is one of my new favorite characters. Question number 9 is a book that made you cry this year. And I think I cried in this. Other than this, I don't remember crying. And the book is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. Some of the books that Colleen Hoover writes I can relate to based on what I've gone through. And sometimes they are just sweet stories that make me think and realize the impacts of other people's actions on your life. with that being said, Reminders of Him, I believe it was a tearjerker just because having studied in children and their development, having to like learn, having to read the story where she's fighting so hard to get her daughter back, and just their whole loving story, like their whole family story, really made me tear up. And I'm a very sensitive, I cry easily, so Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover was the book that I cried the mostest this year. Question number 10, switching it up. What's the book that made you the happiest this year? This story is so cute. It makes me so happy just because I feel like these two characters are perfect for each other. And it is the book Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. Sorry, the spine was wet, and I don't know what that was from or why the floor would be wet. So, but Practice Makes Perfect. This follows Annie and Will, and Will is Annie's best friend's bodyguard. So it's just such a cute story, and if you have the opportunity to read it, you should read it. I didn't read When in Rome first, but I am going back and I'm going to read it because I loved getting pieces of them in the story too. I read this on vacation. It was just perfect. A very good spring read. If you have it, pick it up. It's such a cute story. Question number 11 is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year? I buy a lot of books, and I think this is the most pretty one. I ended up thrifting it. I don't know if people would agree, but it's very aesthetically pleasing to me to look at. It is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao, and I just love the cover so much. It's very pleasing. I like that there's a border. I like that the writing is going the opposite way. I like the city flop, like it's flipped and stuff. There's some, like, I'm guessing water damage to the book because it's all kind of bendy and such, but this is the prettiest book I bought this year. Now for the last and final question, number 12. What books do you really want to read by the end of the year? I have grabbed 3 books for this prompt because I have a lot of books, so I want to show you 3 of them. First one is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I've been trying to read this for 2 years now, and this is going to be the year. I need to read it this summer. I need to keep going because it seems like the production for these movies and TV shows isn't stopping, so I need to read them in order to watch them. So, Meet Me at the Lake. We've got First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. This is high on the TBR. This is something I really, really want to read. I keep getting little quotes and clips of it on Instagram, so I'm like dying to read this. And then maybe watch the movie Sleepless in Seattle because I haven't watched that either. Now this is the big one, and I'm scared of it, but I feel like everybody loves it. Well, that was all the questions I had written down for the book tag, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe so you get more videos in your subscription box from me. If you made it this far, let me know which new release for the second half of the year you're looking forward to. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye!
Do you hear that? My sanity about to break while everyone I know's out. On a trip, on a boat, on a lake. I'm tired of feeling all FOMO, babe. I don't